So, good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, whatever. If you are like in Japan, probably it's good morning. So, let's first be grateful because last Thursday was a test of faith. I was a little bit like, not desperate, but for a couple of seconds, I thought we have to cancel the speaker, the guest speaker. But thanks God, everything's turned out good. Why we decide to continue the subject of perispirit? Because this subject is not never end. Because talk about something that is not yet studied by current science is not easy. So thanks God we have the Spiritist science that has bring a lot of information to us about what is the spiritual body. Well, the term perispirit, I'm going to go very fast because we already had a talk about the perispirit, so the kind of the foundation, what perispirit is. And today we're going to concentrate more on the health aspect. Understand a little bit what Spiritist brings to us about our spiritual body, about us as a spirit incarnated in a physical body. So when we incarnate, we are not only spirit anymore. We become these three-dimensional beings that we are, in the same time, we have a physical body, we are spirit, and we have the spirit, the spiritual body that we call the perispirit, that is this interface. Well, we like to find some comparison for us to understand when we talk about the spiritual body. It's like, for example, if we take an example, the computer, and we wanted to use a projector, so we have a computer here, a projector, we have the image here. So the language of the computer is not the same of the projector because here in the computer I have a different language. So in order to translate this and project here, we need to have an interface, okay? So I cannot project straight from the computer here. So that's why I use the projector. The projector is the interface. So for everything in life, like when we use our cell phone, is a device that becomes an interface between two people. That is not in the same place, because if you're in the same place, you don't need a device. For example, right now I'm speaking, and you guys don't need to have any device to listen to me unless you have an impaired ear. So moving. So just a refresh about perispirit is the link in which united the body and the spirit, a kind of semi-material envelope. This is in the introduction of the Spirit's book, item 6. Also, we learned last time that, okay, this is just a representation if we have the spirit here and the physical body here. So this would be the interface that we call the perispirit, because the peri because surrounds is like the fruit, the perisphere of the fruit, surround the spirit and connects to the physical body. So everything that the spirits do, think, act, will be translated to the body through the perispirit. Then the body has his own machine itself. The body has his own mechanism to act. For example, I wanted to kick, so I send a message to my brain, from my brain through the nervous system, to the muscles of the leg, and I can move. Okay, the perispirit is doing this to the brain, and the brain controls the rest. So that's the way it works. Now, if there is any impairment, if there is any problem in the central nervous system, then whatever the spirit wants to do is not going to be translated to the body. Like when we drive a car, we, the driver, would be the spirit. Okay, the car would be the physical body. So whatever I wanted to do with the car, I want to brake, I want to accelerate, the car will obey. One thing that also we learn in this three-dimensional thing is that in order for this to happen, we need to take advantage of the universal cosmic fluid that will be the matter that will build this spiritual body. In fact, the universal cosmic fluid is the primordial element in the universe from where everything is derived. The matter that we see, our physical body, the air, and also the spiritual body. So this is the same material. We say same material because what we call material is everything that we see. But there is things that we don't see it that is still material. For example, when we study the series of André Luiz, and even in the Spirit's book, the Spirit says that. So we learn that in the spiritual world has what? Building, has a school, has city that we call a spiritual colony. So those cities is formed by the universal cosmic fluid. How they build those cities? Through their thought is a mechanism that's a little more elaborate than our way that we do stuff here. So Daniel, what all this have to do with health? Well, everything. Because first, let's define what health is. If I ask you what health is, you can come to your definition of health. But we decided to get the World Health Organization that has come to this definition that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. I would add the spiritual part on this, just to be complete, since we are a spiritual beings. So, but when they say social well-being, physical means physical, our physical body, mental, our psychological, healthy, our emotion, and social being, our relationship with the society, so with one another. We are sociable individuals, so we may have people out there that doesn't like to be in the society, but it's not like 100%. They want to be isolated, but not so much isolated. At some point, they need to regroup with a couple of people. Even like those that wanted to live in the middle of the jungle, they are surrounded by animals, So at some way, they are not alone by themselves. So this is the definition. As I said, I would add the spiritual beings, the spiritual component here, because we also need to have this connection with the Almighty, our Creator. You can have everything in your life. You can have good family, good job. You can have good body, mental thing, but you're going to find yourself missing something. And that's why when we see a lot of people that has all this, they miss reach out. This reach out, this looking for something else to do it, despite of have everything, is our connection with our Creator that is working inside of us. It's pushing us to look and to reach out for others that need. So this is also spirituality. Spirituality is not go to church only. It's not stay in the monastery. It's not have a religion. It's reach out to others as well. So now disease. So if health is all this, what would be disease? There is a lot of misconception about illness, disease, and sickness. Do you guys know the difference? So when you say, I'm sick, or I have a illness, or I have a disease, is all these things the same? We all use this word as if it is the same, but there is a slight difference, and we're going to touch on this. So in order for us to understand this topic and move to the perispirit, so the definition of disease is a particular abnormal condition that negatively affects the structure or function of a part or all of our organism. Okay? So now let's go to illness. Illness says that is an unhealthy condition of the body or mind. So can you see any difference between these two definitions? So when we talk about disease, we are talking specifically the body, the organ, something that is damaged, okay? But the illness is something more like broad. So let us move on. Let us go to a more deep definition of this the difference between disease and illness. Anyone wanted to give a hint before I bring the, or should I move? Let's move straight to the definitions. So this guy, Eric Cassell, he was a professor in the University of Cornell, New York. Cornell is New York? Cornell. And he was a professor of medicine for almost 40 years. And he says that disease then is something an organ has. Illness is something a man has. Okay? So this is his statement. But then I found a paper that was published in this Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health by this research. And in fact, it was a report. So this group of people decided to go deep and investigate what's the difference between disease and illness. And here's I just get like summarize a little bit what they says. Disease, for example, best refer to abnormal condition affecting an organism, okay? This abnormal condition could be due to infection, degeneration of tissues, injury, trauma, toxic exposure, development of cancer, for example, etc. This is what needs to be cured, specifically if it is life-threatening. And there is more a definition on this. So here, he's saying basically what I have bring in the beginning that I got from the dictionary of medicine, that is something that has to do with part of our body, the physical body. Okay? So illness best refer to the feeling that might come with having a disease. For example, and then they say, feeling like pain, fatigue, weakness, discomfort, distress, confusion, dysfunction, etc. The reason people seek health care, and usually the way people measure their success with treatment. It is very important to understand that feeling of illness can be vastly affected by many non-disease factors, such as expectations, beliefs, fear, feeling, mood, and culture. Being ill is a very personal experience and can vary tremendously and be affected by very different things between people with the same disease. So, for us to understand, because once we have this broad understand what we have, some people has disease but doesn't feel that is ill. An example, if someone has high blood pressure, it's a disease, but you may not feel ill. Or you have, so people may have, for example, high cholesterol is a cardiovascular disease. Doesn't mean the person has an illness or is ill, okay? Some people is ill but doesn't have a disease. They go to the doctor do all the examination, the machine is perfect, but the person feel sick. So sickness is the outcome of this two, okay? When you say someone, oh, this person is sick, but you go to the doctor, everything looks fine. But the sickness is the symptom of a disease or an illness, you know? And sometimes we use the word sickness, oh, this person is a sick person, to describe a behavior that the person has that's not healthy. Has nothing to do with the body. You know what I mean? What is that?
Dirty mind.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So we sometimes we use those words to define someone that's not well, is not healthy. So why we bring this? Why we bring the definitions in our language? Because you know our language is very limited. In order for us to understand this three-dimensional being that we are. So, especially nowadays, what happens is people go to the doctor and they complain about they're feeling this and that. They feel in their body, but the machine is not able to detect the problem. And the people go from doctor to doctor. There is people that has illness, the body, as I mentioned, doesn't show any damage in the body. And vice versa. We have a lot of ill people that doesn't know that has a disease. And then what happens is you go to a situation that it is in your reincarnatory plan, and then when you face that trauma, that situation, boom, the body responds. Okay? So it's very important to understand this because we are all in this process of evolving. And the evolution is physically and intellectually and morally, you know? So you may ask Daniel, but about the animals? Why animals get sick if they don't make choice? Why? Why? Why your cat gets sick? Why we have vet medicine? We should not have vet medicine because the animal doesn't make any decision. They don't make any choice. So what's the problem?
Give them dry food.
Give what?
Give the cat dry food.
Okay. Well,
Doesn't have an illness.
they have a disease, they don't have an illness. Very well. But why? Because if we come here and define that we get sick because of our past life, because we did something wrong, and this was imprinted in our perispirit, now our body needs to pay the price. We need to pay the price. Well, very simple. The reason that animals and nature in general have some struggle is because of the evolutionary process that they need to go through. Change in the DNA, in the mechanism of the spiritual principle, in order to evolve, they need to go to this process of facing struggles so the body and the spirit, not the spirit yet, the spirit intelligence, the intelligent principle can get, how do you say, can get, I just forgot, not can get tuned, can aprimorate by the law of repetition certain automatism that later the spirit is going to need it. You know, for example, we are here right now, but I don't need to think about how my intestines work. My heart is work independently of me. There is a system that we call parasympathetic system, isn't it? That is working independently of my command. What makes this system work is because we as a spirit, we are like now governing this trillion of cells, and those cells is alive because also we have another element that I didn't mention that is the vital principle that comes from the universal cosmic fluid, is the last, and this is located in the etherical double. We discussed this in the previous talk, and is responsible to keep those organs alive and work, follow a command that is driving by the spirit, going through the brain and the rest of the body. Let's move on. So I wanted to bring this. So physical law, I should have put the animation, I forgot to put. So I brought 3 physical laws here. Have nothing to do with spiritism. We learned this in school. So to make a parallel of why when we come here we need to face a struggle and we need to endure certain kind of disease or illness. For example, the energy flux. In the universe, we have the energy obey conform to two flux. One of expansion and the other one from contraction. So everything you picture, for example, our body, we are energy filled. So right now the perispirit is constrained in the body. But when we sleep, he expands. And then they contract. So the universe is expanding. You know, so it's like the universal duality. In the universe, there is the universal duality. So there is day, night, dark. You know what I mean? So everything you think, there is an opposite side. So in order for us to think about energy, and I'm bringing energy, and I'll talk a little bit about waves as well, because we need to touch in the subject of our thoughts, because this is the vehicle of our disease, is through our thoughts. So we have this cycle, cycle in life. So we come here when we are born, so we like contract, as Annette Guimarães explained. So the perispirit contract to connect to one cell, you know? And then they start the process of reincarnation when they reach the age of 7, it's complete. Then when you reach like in 25, when you're mature, then we start to decay, and then we go to and then we die, and then we born. Okay, let's put 50. Let's put 50 in the middle, yes. So this is one thing for us to put in mind. Let's put this flux and energy flux in our life. So everything, let's think about energy. Everything is energy, okay? Now, there is another law that we call the pendulum laws. That is, was a law that was discovered by Galileo in the Galileo, yes, thank you. So he discovered that the gravity, if you move, something is going to go to one side, and depends how the force is put, how high it's going to be to one side, they're going to put to the other side, and this is going to stay until you find an equilibrium. Let's put this negative, positive, just for A, B, okay? So this is a law. If you do this, it's going to happen. No matter, say, I don't want this to happen, but will happen, okay? Why I'm bringing this? Because this is very, similar to our health. Very similar to our health. So it's a physical law that we're going to translate to our spirit life in a body, okay? So whatever we do with our body, with our mind, so we'll come to the other side. If this is negative thing, the effect is going to be negative as well. And the third one, that is the Newton third law. Do you guys remember those laws? The first is about, the second is about, the third is about action and reaction. And this is the one that André Luiz wrote a book about, because in Spiritism we don't talk about action and reaction, we talk about cause and effect. That is the same of action and reaction. It's different of karma. Karma is another story, okay? And we are not discussing karma here. It's similar, but there is a slight difference. So the third law says, for every action force that is equal in size, the opposite in direction reaction force. So we can apply this here, and we see it. So we learned this in school. Why is it important we know this? Because once we know this, we cannot go home and cry and complain. Because this is in nature. We are immersed in nature. So whatever we have with our body, and sometimes we don't want it to hear, is a consequence of a force that is natural in the universe. We are just be called to make a decision. This happened because the universe law, the nature law, the divine law is completely, is there, is here, okay? But some of the things that happen to us, we cannot complain to God. It's the law. We have a lawyer here. It's the law, isn't it? The law, we can't like play with the law. So put this in your mind, because this is very important for us to understand the struggles of our life. I'm not saying here that we should not complain. We should not, oh my goodness, it's too heavy. I can't, today I was complaining with my wife. I can't believe this guy didn't fix the other plate. But guess what? It is what it is. But since we are not perfect, we allowed ourselves to have our 5 minutes of upsetness. let's not let these feelings dominate your 24 hour, because then we end up in a disease, okay? Illness. Okay, this slide I bought from Kirsten's presentation, one presentation that she gave many years ago. And this is the introduction of the book in the domain of mediumship. Emmanuel, in the introduction, he says that the body is electronic, how do you pronounce this? Whirling wind, guided by our conscience. Now we're going to move from the physical thing, from the definitions, to a more spiritual approach. Because the idea here is first understand the mechanism. And then when we bring the perispirit, it's going to be only the interface. Let's not bring the perispirit. Let's bring the spirit first, okay? So in this book, Evolution Toward, here, is in English. It's an excellent book. So we studied this book here on Thursdays many years ago, probably, I don't know, 8 years ago, probably. So in the chapter 8, before was in English, it was in Portuguese, and we were like translating and studying the book. Yes. So this book, the chapter 8, is a long, there is an item over there that talks about, the title is Determining Impulse of the Mind. So it's saying what the mind does, okay? And I summarize like this. The mind that is located in the spirit, okay? The spirit has the mind is not the spirit, okay? We don't know what the spirit is. You can ask, Daniel, what is the spirit? Well, the spirit has its own mind, okay? So this mind is the one that's responsible for the creation of everything in the realm of the perispirit, attribute, okay? If the spirit now is exiled to another planet, so the mind of that spirit is going to build a new perispirit from the universal cosmic fluid of that spirit, okay? So the mind controls of the organic world, okay? So basically, the mind is responsible to assemble or to put all this machinery together, okay? Enzymes, protein, endorphin, hormones, cell renewal, etc. So everything that we have in our body that's working right now, even for example, I'm thinking now, I'm trying to elaborate, I'm trying to convince you, I'm trying to bring information to you, not convince, is a product of many process that's happening inside of our body. Even for yourself that's sitting over there, just listen, there is a lot of things happen, we are not like a car that's sitting over there and is completely inert, intact. Even if we are sitting, there is something working inside of us. There's trillions of cells. Each of those cells, they obey a command that was determined by the mind, okay? So sometimes we say, okay, I didn't cause this to myself. I don't have this disease. I didn't, I have a nice diet, very, controlled a lifestyle. But suddenly you have a heart attack. Where did this come from? Where did this come from? Because if we reason, if everything is completely 100% set, we should not have a heart attack. We should decay slowly and without dying in the middle of our, youth life. What is that? A soccer game. Okay. So all these elements, all this substance that we have that work, obeying a command, they also, this command is, there is a central command that is sent to our body, and our body do also their process, okay? So if, for example, the spirit, okay, I wanted to um, um, move my arm, okay? The spirit send the command. But if there is no, for example, neurotransmitter that will help to contract, to connect to the muscle, and to contract the muscle, it's not going to happen. So there is a point that this, yeah, like dystrophy, like sclerosis, multiple sclerosis, like those kind of disease that degenerate the cells, the nerve cell, the neuron, will not work. If we lack some of those component, the machine will not work, okay? So, so we need to work with nature, okay? The spirit is not almighty powerful. There is a limit. So, and this obey a kind of a physical law, you know? If we see, like, for example, the movement that we have is physical movements. You know, it's not like, it's obey a command that comes from our brain. So this led us to the definition of physiological balance, okay? That we can call, you know, health or illness. Depends how much this substance, and here I put just the substance, I didn't put the organ because those substances also work in cells, and cells together form tissue, and tissues form organ. And so it's a more complex. So this is like just, you know, for example, an edge talking about mental disorder, the lack of some substance that we have in our nervous system, like dopamine, like serotonin. So, and they are very important because they are the one that will make the machinery, our brain works in balance. If we, for some reason, is not in balance, then we need to take advantage of medication or other kind of therapy for us to to restore the equilibrium. Yeah. So now the question is, so we explain about the physical law, we talk about the perispirit, and how all this happened. Okay, there is one element. It's not complex. I mean, becomes complex, but should not be. So is our thought. So what is our thought? Is our mind? No, we know that. Is our brain that produces our thought? What's the brain roles on this thing? So in the beginning, we mentioned that we are the three-dimensional beings, isn't it? So right now, we are not only spirit, but we are not only the physical body, and we are not the spiritual body. We are this three-dimensional being that we call Yasko, Marcelo, Johnny, okay, in this temporal lifetime, because we are a multitude of personality individuals that is living one tiny experience. And this is very important, okay? Why this is very important? Because the thought is the attribute of the mind. That's the attribute of the spirit. So, because it's very difficult for us to understand what the spirit is, and in the spirit's book, the Enlightened Spirit said, you know, you can call whatever you want. There is no language for us to define what the spirit is. The only thing that the definition was gave to us that the spirit is the intelligent being of the creation. So a way to understand that is that we have the universe. The universe has two elements, two only. I think there is only one, but I'm not going to go. But the Spirit said, the universe that is the intelligent principle that by doing internship in different kingdom, one day is going to become a spirit. That is the intelligence principle of the creation. And there is a material principle that is the universal cosmic fluid that by its derivation will form all the matters that we know in our globe. Okay? So the universe, there is no void. Okay? So whatever we see, there is nothing, is because we are not able to detect, even our machine. But everything is filled with matter. And I think quantum physics is reaching there. I think quantum physics will be the one that will find more about this ethereal matter. So the mechanism of thought, how now we can evaluate and understand, and we're not going to understand fully because there is a lot of things, and we should not pretend that we know everything because we don't. Um, and also, we should not pretend that we're going to control our thought 100% because we're not. We are in the process of evolving. So, but if we understand how this mechanism work, I think we already have a direction in what we need to do in order for us to control our life. So we think about, and this is the Genesis chapter 14, if you want to read. So there is this diagram. So we are spirit. As a spirit, we think continually. Even if you say, I'm not thinking anything. Well, we learn here, and psychology has already showed to us that, our conscience is just like 10% of this ocean that we immerse, and the other 90% is the subconscious. Psychology already, have talking about this, that we have no access to this three level that we call the three level, the basement, the first floor, and the up floor. So the basement would be our subconscious, where we has all the trash over there. Now, the first floor would be our current life, what we do in our day-to-day life. And the third floor would be our what? Super, super conscious, where is, our aspiration, where we want to go, we want to really like evolve to that level. So we continue to think all the time. So different of animals that the thought is fragmented. The thought is follow more instinctive approach than us that is continual think, all the time. So we have this continual thought going on. This thought, of course, take advantage of the universal cosmic fluid, travel to the universal cosmic fluid, and through our will condensed, okay, depends of our thought, and this happens a lot. Like, for example, we wanted to achieve this, I don't know, this position, and then we put our mind in that. And eventually we're going to achieve, Becomes an, so an idea is now a collective of thoughts, okay? It's more complex. Thought is, and here is something that is very important for us to decide, because now I'm going to add the spiritual component, how the influence of spirit also can happen in our life, because everything is through our thought. So is the gateway of everything in our life is our thought. There is no other mechanism. I mean, unless in the level that we are, we don't know. Maybe in the more evolved planets or world, in the angelic one, there is a different mechanism over there. But in this level, it's through our thought. So when we talk about the condensed thought, is the materialization through the will what we wanted to. We wanted to put our life. For example, you wanted to get a degree. What you need to do? You need to, So you wanted to, win a competition. You wanted to go to the Olympics. Whatever you think, you will materialize. You may ask, Daniel, but I've been thinking about a lot of things and did not materialize. Then there is another component we need to add. That's our reincarnatory plan. We can decide to put our mind whatever we want, but we have a constraint in our life for us to not let the pendulum's law, yes. So that we are immersed in this universe of laws. And the laws apply not only the material one, but also applies to us as an spirit, as an individual. Okay? So once these condensed thoughts happen, this is gonna have the saturation of the perispirit molecule. Now we are going more to a physical body. So you might not know what's going on in your mind, or go on in your mind and you don't pay attention. But sometimes subliminal thought will, with time, affect the spiritual body, that is the perispirit. All the disease that we have in our body was not built in 1 day or 2 days. Was a period of lifetime that through the thoughts of the spirit, and sometimes is not conscious. Why? Because those thoughts is pulsating inside of the mind of the spirit from previous lifetime. I'm going to give an example. For example, in a lifetime, very, very far away, 2,000 years from now, you know, I'm going to put myself on that. I don't know. I'm just giving an example. I was involved in a scheme that, you know, steal money from the society, okay? And because I was an important person, a politician, for example, let's get a politician. And I didn't use the money wisely, okay? Just an example. Time goes by. Tax collector, I like that. Tax collector. I collect the tax, but I didn't, yeah, I just, you know, get some percentage for my benefits, label, yeah. So then I was not break, but I was not doing the right thing. So I was somehow going against the natural laws. Pendulous action and reaction. Now, the next lifetime, nothing happens to me in regard to this. The other, never happens to me. But now, 2,000 years after, wow, I wanted to be a politician. And I do whatever I want to win the trust of my community, and it doesn't happen. I'm saying, Daniel, what are we talking about? I'm putting my 24/7 thought, because there is a part in the perispiritual body, in the mind of the spirit, that's pulsating, that we, or me, or we, did something in the past. Now we need to, yeah, stain. And then we need to go to the process of, that they call reparation, the cleansing. So when we have a disease of our body, is the cleanse of the spiritual body. The disease of the body is the health, how do you say it? Is the cleaning, there is another name. It's not cure, it's healing. It's the healing of the perispirit. Okay? Now, Daniel, can you apply this in the opposite way, that if you have a health body, the perispirit is sick? No, we can't. You know? We don't know. And I don't want to even to speculate on that. But that's what we learn in the teachings, is that as our body gets sick, our spiritual body will get clean and clean and clean and less dense. So, and then the materialization of the thought, you know, materialization of the thought. When we talk about the mechanisms of thought, we should not concentrate in one lifetime, because then we set ourselves for failing, to fail, to become upset. And then we're going to turn to who? To God, and complain. Okay? So right now, are we here? We are not this person that we are here. We are amount of action and reaction of many lifetime we had. So whatever we do today, the consequence may not be in the next time, next life. Could be in 10 lives from now. As what we go through today is not a consequence of the last life that we had. Could be a consequence of 5, 10 lives, past life ago. So the law, it works like this. And that we can bring Jesus. When Jesus said that our Father never give the heavy burden if you don't to our shoulder. How do you say this in kissing? The burden is not, we never give more than we can handle. And some of our action was so bad that we cannot pay in this lifetime because probably we cannot handle that. Whatever we go now is because we can handle, because God is just, okay? So our judicial law is kind of like, the same, but it's not there yet. We try to have the, for example, when someone is prosecuted, what the judge is going to look, what the prosecutor, they're going to look everything. They're going to look the life of the person. If it is the first time, there is attenuation in the law if the person turned himself, so there is a math over there. So the judge, before they put the sentence over there, they need to look all this, how do you say, help me, the charge that's applied. They need to look all the facts, the facts that happen in order to apply fairly the sentence. So if your law is trying to do the right thing, although there is still, a long, imagine God's law, imagine God's law. So now, how does this happen? We discussed this before about the vital centers, that's the chakra. And we're not going deep on this. So we have the crown, we have the 7 that we call in Spiritist vital center. That is a point of energy that connects the spirit, the perispirit to the physical body. So we have the crown, the frontal, the throat, the heart. Vital center plexus is the digestive solar plexus, the spring, and the base, that is the sexual one. So if you think about energy, you remember in the beginning we mentioned about energy. You have this flux of energy, like expand and contraction, expand and contraction. So we have a high level of energy density, how energy level density, for example, okay? So, and depends of the quality of this energy, and let's put here, the quality of the thoughts of our mind, because what is thought? Is an electromagnetic mental energy, wave, okay? So is all this, is electrical, is magnetic, is mental, is spiritual, that travels the universal cosmic fluid. Travels. Whatever I think here, and a good example of this is that, okay, I'm thinking about this person, suddenly the person call or send an email. I mean, this is an example that our thought travels, and it's almost instantaneously, And so if something that is spoiled in the mind of the spirit, or an action that was done many lifetimes ago, and now is pulsating because it's time for that spirit to go to the process of expiation, So what happened? The signal is sent from the spirit, is going to go to the perispirit, and it's going to materialize in the physical body. So in the mental level, in the spirit energy level, go through the perispirit. The perispirit is the causal body. Do you guys remember when we studied about different kind of bodies? Mental body, the ethereal body, the causal body is a layer, is the perispirit, is a layer, the external layer of the perispirit, where very close to the physical body, where everything is stored, okay? So whatever happened with our body is a modification that was done by our perispirit that has a problem in that area, okay? And finally, the organic level that's going to manifestate that problem. And then we're going to have the state of disease. Now, disease, if this affect our organ, okay? But if it does not have a disease, it affects just the life of the person, we call illness, isn't it? Because illness is So have you heard about heartbreak?
Yes.
It's painful.
I've had several.
You have it? It's painful. But you're not sick. You know, you don't have a disease. Your heart is not break. It's not broke.
You feel like a drug.
But you feel, isn't it? So I'm just giving an example, this example to tell that you have a illness by the definition. Let's go by the definition. But you don't have a disease. So, but is the kind, that's why I brought the definition in the beginning, because so we can understand this. So we cannot mix apples with banana and the fruits.
But the shock of the loss
Okay?
can then disrupt
Yes.
the biochemistry of the brain.
Yeah, that's what I said here.
become a disease.
That's organic level, and then become a disease.
Right. So I mean,
So at the beginning we have this. Yes, yes, you're right. Yes, yes. You have it exactly. Even a disease, well, the cause of a disease, for the disease to manifest itself, was not done yesterday. Like, for example, cancer. Someone to have cancer doesn't start overnight. You know, it's a negative emotion, and we're gonna read this because it's important. So in this book here, The Soul of Matter. So we have the second chapter of this book. This book has 4 chapters. Do you have this book? The second chapter talk about the Perispirit. It's a good book. It was very good book, and I learned some stuff from this book. So the second chapter talk about Perispirit, the modification, the role of in illness, constitution of the human being, the nature of the Perispirit, constitution of the Perispirit, vital body, etherical double, vitality and reductionism, construction chakras and all force centers, vital centers, perispirit and evolution, the role of perispirit in illness, normal and pathological modification, and blah, blah, blah. So there is one thing here that summarizes what we are bring here, that is the role of perispirit in our life, in our health, okay? And one of the things that she says in page 45 is this: negative mental reflection generate harmful radiations similar to ultraviolet or X-ray projections that can damage cell, interfering on their synergetic work and consequently putting at risk their internal balance. Illness come up as a secondary stage. In fact, the origin of cancer, or of perturbation of the cellular balance is caused much more by dystonia of the mind than any other factor. Technical term. You know what dystonia means? Huh? Dystonia is like when the muscle lose control, like twist, like dystonia, muscle dystonia. So, another way, imbalance of the mind. We can say this. The mind, so our mind become derailed. Yes. So I highlight this first part of this statement because it's very important. And now we understand why we, in Spiritism, always is called us to do our inner reform, inner transformation. In Spiritism, is always ask us to self-reflect, to pay attention more what we think. In Spiritism, doesn't prohibit us to do anything. The beauty of the Spiritist teaching is that you can do whatever you want. You know, in terms of, you know, your lifestyle, your sexuality, you know, whatever you want you can do. But there is one thing that the other part is that once you know this teaching, there is expectation that you follow that. Even God, even Jesus, not materialize here, say, hey, look what happened. You have a lot of knowledge now, you're still doing this. That's not going to happen. Nobody here is going to go to hell, you know. But God was smart than us. He created laws, and we are immersed in the law. He's not going to do it, but the law is going to be applied in our life. So, and when it comes to the spirit's level, we gain two things, two attributes that we received. We conquer through evolution. That is free will and also our reason, the conscience that we have. You know, animals doesn't have the level of understanding and conscience that we, the human, has. So it's very important for us to use, you know, this continuous thought for the goodness. Goodness for ourselves, and consequently will be help society. She concludes this chapter, chapter 2, and I just got an excerpt of her conclusion, and she says, it is certain that the perispirit will only become beautiful and radiant, a true nuptial gown. Nowhere? Okay, I'm sorry. When we make, so I think it's the wrong translation of it. When we make a true effort to relive the lesson of Jesus in our daily life, transforming ourselves into a more generous, kinder, and above all, more charitable beings living in true brotherhood with our brother and sister in humanity. It's not with my family. In humanity, which means that we have to have this feeling to anyone that lives in our planet. A cosmic. No, so I'm not going to put the cosmic. I'm just putting the planet here. Because the cosmic, there'll be some like AT or alien coming here. I don't know if we're going to love them, okay? We're going to be more afraid than love them. But the proposal is here. Is our brotherhood in humanity, okay? This is page 81. So the whole chapter is very interesting. There is a lot of very deep information over there. So, but I just get this two part because I think for us, we should take this information as in homeopathic doses, like little by little, for us to process. So one thing that we learn in the Heaven and Hell, I think it's chapter 5, Kardec discussed in Heaven and Hell about the process of, so when we commit something that went according to God's law, the 3 steps of regeneration, basically. That's first is repentance, second is expiation, and the third is reparation. So what's the difference between these 3 ones? So if you do something wrong, repent is the first step, but doesn't mean that the situation is going to be resolved against the God's law. So then comes the expiation. What is the expiation? When we leave the consequence of that, and sometimes during the expiation, we have the tendency to be rebellious against the law, against God's law, so we really feel in reparation is when we are in the stage that there is acceptance. We understand that we are going through a very rough or tough time, but somehow you do it because inside of your mind, you know that you are paying something before God's law. So just take home tips. The whole thing here in this talk about health is just one that we need to do. Our mental education. So self-analysis and discovery and self-discovery. So I didn't bring here a component because it's going to be too much, is the spiritual influence. So the same way we talk about our troubles, and when we were experience negative or imbalanced moment, we become vulnerable for influence of spirit. And this is a law of action or attraction, not action reaction. Law of attraction is another law, okay? Repulsion, so is natural laws. So the law of attraction will happen when we are in any of these stages of your life. If you are in the positive side, we're going to attract all the spirits that is vibrating in that positive frequency. That's why many times this happened to us. We wanted to do something, we don't want to do it, isn't it? I feel I don't want to do it. Then we start to do it, and then somehow you like feel motivated. This happened a lot when we in school. Like when we have to write an essay, when you need to, and then you say I don't want to do this, and then you sit down over there, start to do. You need to start. If you stay only in the complaint, I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to do it. It's not going to happen. You really need to sit down and do it, because the moment you do this, and I can tell you for experience myself, I mean, like, it's something like there is a burst of like things that come, and and you call, when you look at the clock, it's all at 2 a.m. Because you are doing something good. So you have the help of good spirit. Now, the opposite way happens too. If you are doing something over there that's not good, you have those that will help or inspire you to do. So the law applies for both sides, like positive and negative. Take care of your physical body. Run, exercise, eat well. Isn't it, Paula? Work on your spirituality. Devote some time for moments like this, Do the gospel home. The gospel home for me is very like, my wife knows. I mean, needs to have the gospel. Maybe it's a guilt conscience, I don't know, but it's something that when you do it, because we are in debt here. We are all in debt, because if we are not in debt with the law, we are being Jupiter or in another more evolved planet. If we are still here, oh my goodness. Mhm. If we are still here, it's because, so it's better we speed up, trying to, do things that will attract, the good spirit in our life. So let's work on spirituality. So I think that the bottom line of our spirituality is like, let's do the best that we can, be a good person. Because some people don't do the gospel home and they are better than us. Let's be sincere. Some people does not believe in God. They are complete like atheists. And they are better than us because they are doing what we that know what to do and not doing. So let's just put this in our mind, because one day someone came to me and asked, oh, we have just few people here. So what is the other people? So the other people is doing better than us. We need to be here. So it means that we are the sick ones. So we need to come here because we need to enforce ourselves that what we need to do it. Vigilance and prayer. And the last one is be charitable. So I would stop here. If you have any question because of time. Yes, time. Of course, you may have a lot of questions about the mechanism of disease. One thing that I would like to say is that each one of us here has our own life. So what happened to me, what happened to you, not necessarily is going to happen to, to other person. So we all have our own cross to bear, and to bear. And I think what brings to us the comfort situation is that we are not carrying our cross alone. Because there is, we may not see it, but there is good beings or spirit that is overseeing us. Even in the most difficult darkness moment of our life, we are not alone. So I think we need to always trying to think the positive side, although we should not neglect the negativity. Because some people, they might have what we call, how do you say negation? Or the denial. Some people want to deny. Just want to let go to, and don't make any plan, don't stop, don't think, don't organize their life. And then problem never going to be solved. Because being denial is go to the other side of the pendulum, isn't it, yes? So we need to go into the balance. To the balance is the best point in the pendulum to stay. To do this, we need to practice. We need to practice. It's like repetition. It's like repetition. This book says that for this body, your body, to be this Ferrari, this machine, took 1.5 billions year. So the spiritual principle was do internship in different kingdom, was be exposed to different frustration, disease, whatever they need to go, in order to build a system that became a universe, because this universe is form of system. System is form of, the universe forms galaxy and solar system, and then planet, and then the other things. So if you think about our body as the universe, we, the spirit, as God, so we are controlling trillions of cells, but those cells, they are together in different organs, and the organs has some kind of independence from each other, but they are all interconnected. And what connects all the organs is the blood system. The blood system is the one that brings life to the organ. So they say that the universe, the universal cosmic fluid, is a consequence of God's breath. So we are alive because God is sustained life. The body is alive because the blood is carrying the oxygen. The same time they carry the oxygen, they remove the waste, like the CO2, for example, from so our cells can live for short time of life, As the universe has their own mechanism. One day we have the black holes, we have the planet that's gonna, the sun that will disappear, and new galaxy, new planet will be formed. So that's the cycle, energy, flux of energy happening. So I will stop here. Question, comment? Yeah, comment. I'm gonna go close to you because I have the microphone here. No, go first. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about the animal level that you say there is a fragmented thought, there is no continuous thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comparing this animal stage, which are not yet individual spirit as humans, to us, and now I will start to compare myself in this stage, humans in this stage, to when or to those that are
Yeah.
in the angelical,
level. Yes.
I am tempted to think that in this stage we have fragmented love.
Ah, that's a good
The
point.
love is conditioned.
Yes.
It's my mother, I have my filial, maternal, it's conditioned. Or some good friends, some fraternal friends. But if it's not in that category, I may not have my love.
Yeah.
But when I go to that high level,
The angelical level, for example.
the love is not
Conditional.
longer
Perfect.
fragmented. It's not conditioned anymore.
Very
We
good.
are in what we call agape.
Yes,
like
agape
cosmic.
love. The cosmic love.
Like you put this a cosmic
Yes.
agape love. We are not any longer, in this sense, I'm not any longer individual. I'm part, almost of a collectivity of
Yes.
spirit. There is no any more distinction. Oh, you are my brother, you are my sister.
Exactly.
Nothing anymore. We are in one almost amorphous,
Yes.
high light,
And
with the same level
And he asked, this was the proposal that Jesus brought to us when he asked, who is my
I'm
father,
comparing
who
with
is
the
my
animals.
mother? Exactly.
So the animals is fragmented
And I-
thought, and we have fragmented sentiment.
And I think that's the way I think we should, think about it, because the same way we kind of understand the animal kingdom a little bit, we may not want to take care of the animal kingdom, but it's the same way we can project this to the next
I was thinking about the
level.
animals before, like 50 years ago. We didn't talk much about pets. Animals were animals.
Yeah.
We treat as an animal. So look now, you call the pets animal, they get offended with the owner, But what is the difference? By being with the humans, because of the conditioning, we do this in the lab, the conditioning the animals, all those amazing things, the animals follow the command,
Mhm.
and if you give a little food, a little good tree. So this is, I think, is in the evolution of their getting the individual spirit because of this
Yeah, very
learning
good.
and conditioning with the us for them
Very
they
good.
are higher spirit.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So who's okay? Decide over there. Who's gonna go first? No, no, no. You can speak from there. That's okay.
I can go closer.
No, no, no. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, first of all. It was short, sweet, to the point.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, I really love it. Thank you, Daniel, for doing that fragmented of the study. By reading the take-home tips, which are actually, we should create a poster, a banner, and put it in our house, because it's really a guide to live, to
Yeah.
our lives. But my comment is about once we got a little bit of understanding of our disease as a society,
Mhm.
as our illness as an individual, when we got to know like, oh, this cancer is not punishment from God,
Mhm.
or this diabetes is
Yes,
not
sir.
punishment
Yeah.
from God, it is a consequence of my actions in previous
Mhm.
lives. One of the dangers when we got to that comprehension is that we can fall into feeling guilty. So
Yes.
this
That's a good
actually,
comment.
that
Yeah.
won't be,
Yeah.
that won't help us to move forward.
Forward. That's
Right, so I want to bring up
Yeah.
this comment in the sense like we need to treat ourselves like we treat our pets
no.
with so much love and care and tenderness, in the sense like okay, I'm a diabetic person, just to give an example. uh, this is a consequence of some group of actions that I
Yeah.
committed in the past.
Mhm.
In this present lifetime is out of my control, in the sense I didn't ask for to born, and I'm talking about the
Yeah.
type 1
Type 1.
diabetes.
Type 1.
Yes, right. So we need to get to a point of acceptance,
Mhm.
of acceptance and
No.
forgiveness.
Yes.
So, but with the forgiveness, we can go through whatever is the illness
Yes.
that we have. So I think
Self-forgiveness.
it is important, probably in the mental education,
Yes.
to have some self
Forgiveness. Yeah. That's a good
It's
point.
love to ourselves, and it will make us move forward.
Perfect.
Because then the illness, it will be worse than
Yes.
the goal of the illness itself.
Perfect. Good comment. Straight to the point as well. Thank you. Dom.
You give that example about how if you have negative thoughts can impact your body, might even cause cancer, for example.
Yes.
So can you give some examples of how not to have negative thoughts? How if you're having negative thoughts,
Oh, that's
how
good.
to,
No more obsidian.
yeah.
I'll do the opposite. But so yeah. Um, so it's a process, okay? It is a process. So the question is, okay, how not to have negative thought? So the same way of the evolutionary process to build this body took millions, billions of years and went through a process that called repetitions. So what happened to us that there is no magic bullet about the negative thought. Is that we're gonna have negative thoughts and we need to learn from those negative thoughts not to have negative thoughts. So negative thought in this sense is not bad because we are in the process to find what's good. In order for us to find what is good, we need to go to this trial and error of our life. And the reason that God allowed us, and this comes with our choices that we have in life, you know. So, for example, is the law of the pendulum, okay? What you think is negative, you may think that's negative now, but when you were like, we were like 10 reincarnation behind, was not negative the way we thought, we think. You know, now what happened is we don't think more like that individual, but in that moment there is a stain in our evolution process. So we need to make sure that we close that chapter. And then the way to do that we learn in the book, Action and Reaction, is about these two forces of the universe. There is only two forces in the universe that is great. Then one is the power of the Creator. The second one is pain. So pain comes as a way to help us to redress what is good, to what is good. So the mind is not perfect. So we are in the process, for example, a spirit that just became a spirit, okay? Let's pretend that there is the internship, all the animal kingdom, and then there is the mislink that we don't know the mislink. So if there is this mislink, when the spiritual principle, now with all the elements and the faculty that learn from the other kingdom, how is this transition? So let us go back 50,000 years ago, and let's picture the humanity in that time. We are not human yet. We are like primitive men, okay? So many things that we know nowadays, we went through the process of learning, try and error in society. Now we enter a new era that we need to control this, our thought. We need to go to many reincarnations of trial and error until one day we're gonna really vibrate in that frequency that there is no room for negative thought. I'll give an example. Let's go back in time and see how our society, how we think because if we are here, probably we are incarnated in that time. How we think like 500 years ago about African people. We Caucasian, because I'm Caucasian. How you feel? We feel that they are like less evolved beings. No. I'm telling about how the society see it. The situation was so true that we enslaved them. You know? But we forget that we are spirit, that we can come in this race, on that race. And then, you know what I mean? So nowadays we cannot, at least for us here, I believe, that we cannot consider to have slaves. This is something that goes to your mind, to have a slave. You may want to have a maid in your home, but you need to pay a maid to work for you. You pay. But it's the kind of thought, for example, if someone do something, would you think about get the person hanged over there in the street? I mean, that doesn't... Okay, so here's the thing. Although our society, a lot of these atrocities, we are like breaking a divine law. So the law has attenuation, okay? Depends how we did that. We may suffer the consequence in further lifetime, would be attenuated, depends how you act or how you still think about that. So it is a process, that's what I say, it's a process. I don't think there is a way not to think. It's the only way is you need to exercise, to destitute. Joanna Judge mentioned this in the Happy Life. She says that, you need to substitute the negative thought for positive one. But the negative, the issue is going to happen. It's going to happen.
I think in order to think less negatively, it is a process. But I think the first step is we have to be conscious of our thoughts. Like I'm just trying to take
Yes.
it a little further into some more steps.
Yes.
Okay. Then you have to learn how to step back from this thought stream without judgment, which is not easy
Mhm.
because we're judging pretty regularly. So you have to get more into an observer state of mind. There are different practices that make
Yeah.
that possible. One is, and it's Spiritist, it's also Rudolf Steiner, called the Review of the Day. So prior to falling asleep, you start with the last thing that happened
Yeah.
to you, and you keep going back
Right.
to the first thing. But you do it objectively. It's not to feel guilt,
No.
to feel shame. It's just to know.
There's a training, yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other other process is, of course, meditation,
Mhm.
which we are not as familiar with. We're just like beginners trying to
Mhm.
understand it and practice it. But that gets you into observer
Yeah.
status, and the more you're in there, you don't want to be in the negative end.
Mm.
So you're going to catch that negative thought, and you're going to reframe it, or you're going to exercise it out. You're going to do something with it till you eventually
Yes.
evolve.
That's a
And you're
good
finding
strategy.
yourself
Yeah.
more
More.
in the middle and not doing
Yeah.
this stuff.
Mm.
Just what you listen, what you
Yeah.
media, news,
Yes. Yeah.
That was the other point I wanted to,
influence.
the one thing that struck me as you were teaching is I think we're missing in childhood education and adult education is how to handle loss. And loss happens all the time. A child may feel lost because they're not picked for the team or invited to the
Yes.
birthday party. There are many thousands of losses you have, but we've basically been taught to have a stiff upper lip, to push it down, and that's the problem that eventually winds up as cancer. You push too many of
Mm.
those things down.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
we
true.
do need to have a systematic
System.
way to deal with the feelings that
Yeah.
come with loss and how we can evolve.
Very good, Dr. Paula. Yes. Compliment.
When he was saying how,
Mhm.
as you said, there's no way you are not going to have the negative thought. However, something that I read, and from coming here, of course,
Mhm.
reading the books and listening to the audiobooks and whatever, that, for example, you were driving work, and all of a sudden you see like an accident and ambulance, bad stuff. Immediately, you are going to feel afraid.
Yeah.
Right? Then you're going to be sometimes developing a negative thought of fear. So immediately, you would be, as Paula said, aware of the bad thing and say, thanks God, I'm safe, and may God bless this person that had to go through this, but I'm going to rejoice in this day that God made for me.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be,
keep going.
I'm going to keep going, but with faith and on control. You know what I mean? And out down, maybe I'm going to get to work, and then that person that is so unpleasant. No, like, all the time, actively. That's it. This is my point. To be
Yeah.
short.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, no, he's going to be there, but he's a son of God. He's a child of God. He's going to be okay. And you arrive to your work, he's smiling.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. How are you, everybody?
Yeah.
Not like afraid that you're going to be
Yeah.
cast
Compliment.
stones.
Just compliment.
Yeah.
You have a tendency, I think it's all for everybody.
Mhm.
You see an accident in the road, you have a tendency to stop watching. I mean,
That's
you have-
Curiosity.
Out of curiosity, or just
Yeah.
because you want to try to help? Or
Neck breaker.
just-
Doesn't.
Say
Yeah.
that
No.
you
That.
don't
that-
look at-
so again. So I think to finalize, we just to revisit. We are this complex being. We are not a simple individual with spirit. We have many experience lifetimes before. One thing that we learn in the Spirit's book is, I don't know the question, I cannot remember the question, but one of the things is, I think it's 942, I think so, is that Kardec asked about this, how can we, what we need to do to overcome evil, and the Spirit said, look, you don't need to make big effort. You just need to make small. What lacks on you is willpower. So what's lack on us when we go home? What's lack on us? Like, for example, disease is a lack of ease, isn't it? Lack of ease. So I think it's not ease. Ease now. So that's disease. So what's lack on us to have more is willpower to change. It's just little. I was saying, we just need to make little effort, because what happened to our life nowadays, and because of mercy of God, is not the bad thing that we did in the past. Many of the things that happens to us here, we cause in this lifetime. So he said, many of the things that happen to us, we cause in this lifetime. So the amount of things that we bring from past life is very small. It's very small. Very small. I mean, like, we can give an example. Someone that's born with a problem already in the physical body, then this person brings from past life, for sure. Because, unless the mother did something during the gestation process. But even if they did, it was in the reincarnatory plane. But some major of the disease that we have in this life is the habit that we have in this life. Because for God, time is endless. And for us, we are immortal. So let's just picture, we are probably living this body here, in this planet, for example. I hope we have not been come from other planet. But if in the case, if we are from here, like become spirit here, for example, we talk about what? I don't know. 200,000 years from the primitive being, the primitive man, the caveman, 100,000 years. I mean, this is nothing. This planet has 4.5 billions of years. So other planet in the projection, for example, our solar system, we're still gonna be here for like, they say 8 million years or 8 billion years. We have time. We have time. But here is the thing. Here is the thing. Here is the thing. We don't want to stay here billions of years. We don't. We wanted to go to a more evolved planet as soon as possible. To a star, yeah, to a star. No, there's planet that's more evolved than us. So I'm just giving like step by step, yes. Because the idea is to live in a star, yeah. That's the pure spirit.
So you go to Nassau.
Yeah. So,
Nice star?
yeah, so no. A spirit, when they become pure, like Jesus, they don't have planet, they don't live, they can incarnate. Like Jesus incarnate. Jesus did not reincarnate. Only us that keep reincarnate. So Jesus incarnate to help to bring the message and say, guys, that's the way we do it. Then he went back and he joined the other Christ of our solar system. How many planets we have in our solar system, Chris? 9. I think it was only 8, isn't it? I mean, there is Pluto over there. Yeah, there's an argument. So we have only this 8 planet, and we have Pluto that we learn in Spiritism, that is the penitentiary of our solar system, where all the bad guys gonna go, like Hitler, for example, is there. So only 8. So it means that there is 8 Christ in this solar system. Where these people meet? The sun. The sun is the house of the Christ. Yeah. So, and there is a Christ that oversees the solar system, the whole solar system. There is a Christ that oversees the whole galaxy, the Milky Way. The Milky Way, how many solar systems we have the Milky Way, Professor Yasko? Millions. You just say millions. That is million solar system. I think it's millions. Okay. Doesn't matter. Anything above like 100 is a lot. Isn't it? So that's just for us to realize that the level, if you think about Jesus, be a Christ, imagine who is the boss of Jesus. Of course, he talked about, when they reach that level, they have a big comprehension about the Creator, about God. That's why they cannot use any other language to define God but the Father. It's the best, the Father, the Mother. Yeah, Professor Smith, the Father, the Mother. Yeah, so guys, thank you so much. If you have any other question, I think this book here is very good for you to go.